The movie has its flaws, but honestly, I had a blast watching this film. Hi everyone, welcome to I Just React and Review. My name is Ashmita. Hope you all are doing well, and today I am so excited to share my thoughts on the 2020 Malayalam release Ayyappanum Koshiyum, starring Biju Menon and Prithviraj in the lead roles. So without dealing this any further, let's get into the detailed analysis. The storyline of this film left me completely dumbfounded because it started with a small thing and then it became such a huge deal. So it's the perfect metaphor is like making a mountain out of a molehill. This story is exactly like that. A small altercation between two human beings causes a ripple effect that absolutely consumes both of these characters. So Ayyappan Nair, played by Biju Menon, is an honest police officer, and one day, along with the officers from the forest department and the excise department, they go about doing their routine car checks. When they are almost done for the night, they come across the car of Koshiyum, which is played by Prithviraj. Certain events transpire which end up in an altercation between Koshi and the police officers, and it forces Ayyappan to slap Koshi in order to gain control of that situation. This of course hurts Koshi's ego because he comes from a very influential background and he thinks of payback, and thus starts the chain of events which, well, in a nutshell can be called an ego war between these two characters. Each character is trying to gain superiority over the other one. Who will win this ego war is the crux of the story. I cannot praise the writing enough. This is a 3-hour film which is very heavy on the dialogues, but not for a single second. In fact, I should say not for a single millisecond I was bored throughout the entire runtime of this movie. For 3 hours I was completely glued to my laptop screen, and that is because of the amazing screenplay penned down by Sachy. I was completely invested in the story. Every time my brain was thinking, okay, what next? Now what is he going to do? How will this person retaliate to this action? It was so much fun to watch. Another great thing about the writing that I liked, that the jump of the characters each time to do something superior and crazy than the previous deed feels very natural and organic. Nothing that each of these characters were doing to each other felt very trivial to me, because see, it started with a very small thing, and the way that ripple effect took place, it really felt very organic to me, and it sort of made sense that yes, one person is doing something like Koshi is doing something to Ayyappan, then Ayyappan is doing something bigger to Koshi, then Koshi is like, now how big I can go for in retaliation. This is screenplay writing at its best, because nowadays it is so easy to distract the audience with unnecessary songs and scenes. To hold the attention of the audience for 3 hours straight without breaking the flow of the narration, maintaining that tension and creating an impact with each scene is a testament to good screenplay writing. Along with the writing, Sachy also directed this film. The style of direction had such a primal and local flavor to it. I found that really mesmerizing because it made the story look and feel very natural. I loved how he gave equal time to churn out the arcs of both the characters. It absolutely broke my heart knowing that he was no more, because losing such a creative mind is really saddening. This wonderful screenplay would have gone into waste if the direction was poor, but I think Sachy really outdid himself in both these departments. What do I even say about this man, Jakes Bijoy? I mean, every time I listen to a score given by him, I just keep falling more and more in love with his craft. To give a more local flavor to the film, I absolutely loved how he made use of the tribal sounds. And especially in that final fight scene, I really was not expecting it to have so much of tribal background sound, but it made that fight look so primal. It made it look and feel really caveman type. So yes, a good screenplay where the tension is maintained between the two central characters, backed by such amazing background score, it just makes the entire movie very wholesome. A thumbs up, no wait, 2 thumbs up to Jakes Bijoy from my end. Sudeep Element's cinematography, how should I put it? It's very unique. It was not the magnificent kind where the beauty of the village and the greenery is captured, but it is the kind where the rawness of the village is shown. I researched a bit more about him and I found out that Sudeep is a wildlife videographer and has experience shooting a lot of footage of wildlife creatures in the jungle. It was one of the primary reasons why Sachy hired him to do the DOP of this film. I honestly got really fascinated by this fact. There are a lot of unique camera angles used, especially during the fight combat scenes. I later found out that Sudeep has shot most of the film with a handheld camera. Superb, just superb. I really like when such kind of creativity is thought about in detail while making the film. Who is Prithviraj? Who is Biju Menon? I only know Koshi Kurian and Ayyappan Nair. That is how much life they have put into their roles. I know a lot of viewers had asked me to watch either Memories or Mumbai Police as Prithviraj's first film viewing experience, but I chose this movie and he blew me away. He knocked it out of the park. This guy, like I said, I don't know who Prithviraj is. What I was seeing was Koshi Kurian. That is how much convincing he was as Koshi Kurian. Whatever emotion he wanted to portray, be it aggression, be it being insecure, be it being scared, because there are a lot of moments where he is confused, he is scared, he is very, very aggressive. All of these emotions were portrayed with so much flawlessness. He was flawless. He was absolutely flawless. 10 on 10 for his acting in this film. Biju Menon as Ayyappan Nair. He was... I mean, please let me know of more of his films because I'm telling you, see, words are not coming. I cannot find a proper adjective to describe his performance because it was so perfect. I know from you guys now that this film is going to be remade in Telugu, Tamil and Hindi, but after watching this film, I think for me personally it is going to be very, very difficult to see somebody else playing Koshi Kurian and Ayyappan Nair because the acting standard set by Biju Menon and Prithviraj is pretty high. I am sure there are highly great actors who can pull off this role in all the three industries, but we'll wait and watch. Ranjit as Korean John also played his role very well. Of course, he didn't have a much deeper or carved out character arc in the story because obviously the central characters were Ayyappan and Koshi. But whatever brief role he had an impact and he also had an important role in the film. Gauri Nanda as Kannamma was savage. I really want to mention her because even though she had a very, very brief role, the impact that she made in those few minutes was amazing. If I had to think of an authentic, strong female character, Kannamma is definitely that one. Then Sabuman as Kuttamani. Now, I know he is sort of the villain in the film, but I really loved at his performance because the way he was delivering his dialogue, it had that comedic relief that was needed in the film. So yes, he's trying to be all villainy and savage, but when he gets roasted by Ayyappan Nair, those scenes are really fun to watch. Now, Ayyappan Nair and Koshi Kurian. I specifically wanted to talk about these two as characters. Now, I know a lot of you will disagree with me, but this is just my opinion that I'm putting forward. When it comes to Koshi's character, I just couldn't understand his brain. When he was behaving in a certain way, I was thinking, okay, fine, so this is how he thinks. And then suddenly he used to behave in a completely different way. So that confused me a little. Now, one can definitely argue with me saying that Koshi is a very insecure person and that's why he's having such multiple thoughts. Fine, I agree. But consider the background that he's coming from. Even though his father is extremely dominating, he is also having a military background. So when you're inducted in the military, you are trained in a certain way. Your mind gets inducted in a certain way. So to be so insecure, I can understand the ego part because he is coming from a very, very influential background. But to be so insecure, I did not get it. Also, it was not the case that his father was completely 100% dominating on him. Because when Korean John was speaking or, talking something nasty to Koshi, Koshi used to retaliate. It's not like Koshi used to stay numb and not talk anything. Koshi used to retaliate to his father. Now, let's talk about the female influence in Koshi's life. There is a scene where Koshi slaps his wife, and when the context of that slap was revealed, it was completely a disconnect for me. That is the scene where his wife is actually standing up with him against her father-in-law. So instead of appreciating that gesture, he slaps his wife, justifying that why didn't you do this before? Now some of you would tell me that it is on the heat of the moment and because of the kind of person he is. I don't think so. And the reason for this is because Koshi and his father were just talking and the wife comes in calmly and tells her point of view. So Koshi exactly knew what he was doing. Now consider this. Koshi has a mother who is not well and he loves his mother. That has been clearly shown in the film. Then it has been clearly shown that he also loves his wife and he has 2 daughters. He loves them too. So even if I consider the scenario that Koshi's father used to be abusive towards his mother, and considering how much Koshi loves his mother and his wife and his daughters, that action was completely unjustified, because Koshi then, as a father and as a husband himself, would prevent anything, any kind of behavior that his dad used to do. So yes, that's what my opinion on Koshi as a character is. If you guys have any other point of view, I'm all ears. I will be reading those comments with an open mind. Please let me know your point of view as well. Now coming to Ayyappan Nair, this is the character that I could connect with because he had a very clear-cut thinking. He used to be a savage person before he was a policeman. Then when he became a police, he was still savage but a little tamed one. And then when he loses his post, he again goes back to being a savage. So you understand, there is a logic behind his behavior. All the aggressive retaliation that Ayyappan Nair did to Koshi made complete sense to me. He was ready to bury the hatchet in the first scene itself when the first altercation happened between these two. Koshi did something wrong and he knew it. Ayyappan Nair was following the law and Koshi knew that he had broken the law. So yes, Ayyappan Nair, I feel as a character, was much more driven by logic than his aggression and ego. He also had ego, but I still felt that it was sort of justified. Again, if you tell me in the comments that no, Ayyappan Nair was an idiot, but with a logical explanation, I am all open to read that perception and opinion as well. This was just my opinion about these 2 characters after the first watch of the film. I would absolutely recommend you to watch it because it is a really entertaining watch. Though it is just a one-time watch, because at the second viewing you will know what is going to happen. So that tension is not going to be there what it was at the first viewing. The movie is streaming on Amazon Prime. Please go watch it. And that was my analysis on the Malayalam movie Ayyappanum Koshiyum. If you have come till the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I will see you on my next video, guys. Bye-bye.